Good morning to you. I'm Power 5 meteorologist Remeisha Shade. It's been a busy morning for me and maybe a bit of a messy commute for you because we've had multiple rounds already of showers and storms rolling through. No severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings or anything like that just yet, but these storms have been on the strong side, showing indications of wind gusts near 50 miles per hour at times and also some very heavy rainfall. So I think our biggest threats this morning will be the potential for some flooding and also for some wind gusts that could approach 50, 55, maybe 60 miles per hour. So we do have a marginal threat for severe weather. We are looking live out at Ashtabula, and you can see that that parking lot is on the wet side. So a lot of roads across Northeast Ohio will look like this, wet and messy. So make sure to give yourself some extra time because it is going to be messy out there with these showers and storms rolling through. I know a lot of you are gearing up to hit the roads, head to work, go run some errands, maybe go for that morning workout, but you will have to worry about a lot of lightning in some spots and the threat for some flooding. In fact, we do have a flood advisory. This is going to be for parts of Lake County and extreme northern portions of Geauga County. This includes Fairport Harbor, Paynesville, Mentor on the Lake, the city of Mentor, Timberlake, Willoughby. This flood advisory out until 10 a.m. So for about another 2.5 hours. This was issued because our Power 5 radar is estimating just over the last few hours anywhere from about 2 to 2.5 inches of rain that have already fallen right around the Mentor and Paynesville area. So that's a lot of rain in a short period of time, and that is why we do have that potential for some flooding out there. So if you are in Lake County, especially around Mentor, Fairport Harbor, Paynesville, make sure if you encounter any flooded roads, try to turn around, find an alternate route. You never want to drive across a flooded road. You don't know how deep the water is. You don't know what's underneath the water, in that water. You don't even know if the road is intact. So don't risk it. Flooding, the #1 weather killer. A lot of times people will think, okay, it's not a big issue. I can drive across this flooded road. It's not going to do anything to me, but they end up getting stuck and it could be a dangerous or deadly situation. So certainly watch out for any floodwaters out there. And also keep in mind that a few of these storms could produce some strong wind gusts. Fortunately, at this point, no severe thunderstorm or tornado watches or warnings, but we do have some strong storms out there. And downtown Cleveland, you've dealt with about 3 rounds of heavy rainfall so far this morning, starting to clear out a bit across downtown Cleveland right now, but in Euclid, the heavy rain still coming down. Mentor, Kirtland Hills, where we have that flood advisory, another batch of heavy rain rolling through right now. So when you get these cells moving over the same areas, time after time after time again, that's what we call training, and that is a good setup for some flooding. So I think our biggest issue today will likely end up being that flood threat and also the threat for a few damaging wind gusts. So if you are in the Mentor area, just prepare for some ponding of water on those roads. Some roads could be completely covered with water, so just keep that in mind. That's where that flood advisory will continue. The highest threat for that flooding through about 10 a.m. So I am tracking a few other storms. I want to take you to our Power 5 radar. Notice up around North Perry, there's some heavy rain there. We've also got some heavy rainfall just to the north of Chesterland, Ashtabula, light to moderate rain falling for you. Back to the west, a few more cells are getting going around Wellington, New London. These are not severe, but they are putting down some heavy rainfall. Our strongest line of storms at this point is back to the south and west. This is where we haven't had a lot of rainfall previously this morning, so the atmosphere still on the unstable side down here. This is Shelby, Shiloh, and down around Bucyrus. Very strong storms here, some heavy rain, a lot of lightning, and also the potential for some wind gusts. In fact, I'm going to switch to our analysis mode and go back to reflectivity mode and clear a few things off here. And I want to get a closer look. I'm going to go to our base velocity and see what we're showing with potential wind in this line down across Shelby and Shiloh, because it looks like these storms are getting pretty rowdy. So it looks like at this point, our Power 5 radar indicating, for the most part, 40 to 50 mile per hour winds, but there could be a wind gust in between 50 to 55 miles per hour just to the south of Bucyrus. But up around Shelby, Shiloh, and our News 5 viewing area, 40 to 45, possibly 50 mile per hour wind gusts with this line. Also, some very heavy rain. I'm going to give you another view of this storm, looking inside this storm, and show you that we do have the threat for a little hail. This is going to be near Shelby and also Bucyrus, and also very heavy rainfall. Look at some of these rainfall rates. 2-inch per hour rainfall rates showing up for parts of this line. This is going to be near Shiloh, for parts of Shelby. So very heavy rain, maybe some marble to dime size hail in this, and a lot of lightning as well. I have the lightning turned off. I'm going to turn that back on, and you can see just tremendous amounts of lightning here. So certainly something that we are monitoring closely. No warning on this just yet, but we do have some heavy rain, a little lightning, and the potential for those 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts. So these are some strong storms. They're not quite at severe levels. In order for the storm to be considered severe, we would need wind gusts to be around 58 miles per hour or higher or stronger. And also we would need to have hail around 1 inch or larger. So that would be around quarter size or larger. So not seeing hail that large, not seeing wind that strong just yet, but definitely some very heavy rainfall, 2-inch per hour rainfall rates showing up in this cell, and some very heavy rain will continue as we go into the next several minutes. All right, I want to put a track on this for you. This is pushing off to the northeast around 35 miles per hour. So let me track the leading edge of this. Looks like it should reach Savannah around 7:54 a.m. Currently over Shiloh. Ashland should reach you around the same time. So between 7:50, 7:55 in Ashland, prepare for some very heavy rain, a lot of lightning, and the potential for a little bit of flooding, maybe some wind gusts close to 50 miles per hour in this cell. Let me reset the view for those of you that are wondering what's going on across the rest of the area. We've just got these storms that just keep bubbling up. They keep forming. We've got a trough passing through this morning, and we've got plenty of instability out there, just enough shear for these storms to be able to pulse up and develop. We've got another cell starting to form, and this one is going to be back off to the west of Fremont. A lot of lightning, some heavy rain with that one. So we're going to be monitoring these strong storms as we go through the morning. Akron, Canton looking good right now. You did have some heavy rain over you earlier this morning in Akron, but that has pushed out. There are a few cells developing off to the south. South of Carrollton, we've got a few heavy downpours. But the main action at this point with the line getting close to Ashland, and also with the activity up around the Menor area. So once again, downtown Cleveland, you're looking pretty good right now. The worst of it off to the northeast and the southwest of downtown Cleveland. But Menor, Kirtland Hills, Paynesville, North Perry, Chardon, Euclid, eastern sections of Euclid, South Euclid getting some very heavy rain. Beechwood, heavy downpour over you. So this is what we are concerned with, the potential for some very heavy rain that could lead to additional flooding. All right, let me put a track on the leading edge of this heavy rain in Paynesville and Chardon. Should reach you in North Perry around 7:41 a.m., Perry around 7:41, Thompson 7:48, Madison around 7:49. As I've been mentioning, no warnings on this as far as severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings, but this storm is strong. It is putting down some very heavy rain, a lot of lightning, and there will be the potential for some strong gusty wind. In fact, I'm going to turn the lightning off. I'm going to zoom in here and see what type of wind we're picking up right around the Menor area. So in order for a storm to be considered severe, as I mentioned to you earlier, you would need wind gusts around 58 miles per hour or greater. And we're not seeing that right now. So that's why we don't have a severe thunderstorm warning. You could also get a severe thunderstorm warning for large hail. Severe hail considered around quarter size or larger. So we're not seeing that either. But these wind gusts are going to be anywhere from 35 to 45 miles per hour, most likely, right around Menor, Concord, Paynesville, Fairport Harbor. So even though it is not severe, those are still some strong wind, maybe strong enough to knock down some tree limbs and do a little bit of damage out there in the patio, backyard. So certainly keep that in mind. Windy and also wet with this storm. I'm going to switch gears and show you another view inside of this storm with our Power 5 radar. And it looks like there's a little bit of hail showing up right around Kirtland Hills. Hail size right around a ½ inch. So in order for this to be considered severe hail, that would be 1 inch or larger. That would be quarter size. So we're not picking that up at this point. But look at the rainfall rates. 2-inch per hour rainfall rates showing up where we already have a flood advisory in place. So heavy rain on top of more heavy rain increases the flood threat. So we've got these cells training, moving over the same areas multiple times, and that is why we do have that threat for more flooding. All right, I'm going to switch back to our reflectivity mode, turn a couple things off here, turn the lightning back on. Not seeing a ton of lightning in this, but there is still some decent lightning, so any lightning is dangerous. So we've definitely got the lightning threat, the heavy rain threat, and maybe some 40 to 45 mile per hour wind gusts in this cell. All right, I'll reset the view. You'll see that line down around Shelby getting stronger. That is approaching Ashland. So heads up if you are in Ashland, Savannah, gear up for some heavy rain, maybe some 40, 45, 50 mile per hour wind gusts over the next 15 to 20 minutes rolling in. All right, so that's what we have going on with our showers and storms. Storm threat for today going to be around 60 to 70%. We're definitely getting that this morning, but I think we're going to get this round of storms this morning. We may get a bit of a break around lunchtime. Then as we go into the afternoon, we're likely going to get another round of storms developing because the atmosphere will likely recharge and become unstable again. So we are going to be monitoring for that threat for more strong storms building for the afternoon hours. There is a marginal risk for severe weather for today, a low marginal threat for basically the entire area. So the severe threats range from Category 1, which is low, marginal, all the way up to high, which would be Category 5, and that usually means a huge tornado outbreak if you're under a high risk. We're not under that. We're under a low marginal threat, so that means maybe 1 or 2 storms pulsing up and producing a brief 60 mile per hour wind gust, and also that potential for some heavy rain that could lead to flooding. Bigger severe storm risk for today will be off to our west and northwest. That Category 2 slight risk includes Fort Wayne, Detroit, Chicago, Indy, and an even higher Category 3 enhanced risk up around the Milwaukee area. So that's where the higher tornado threat will be. That's where the threat for some damaging winds will be higher. We can't rule it out here, but threats definitely much higher off to our northwest. But we're still concerned that we could have a few strong to severe storms here, so we will be monitoring that as we go through the morning. Meteorologist Trent McGill will be here for the afternoon, monitoring it for your evening drive and letting you know what to expect then. So certainly just be careful out there. Our main threats today: damaging wind, maybe around 60 miles per hour, and also that threat for flooding. Of course, we do still have that flood advisory for a big chunk of Lake County and for a little portion of northern Geauga County until 10 a.m. Also, we've got that threat for the damaging wind, as I've been mentioning, maybe some 60 mile per hour gusts. I think that will be even higher for the afternoon as we will have more heating of the day. So that will mean that we will have that threat for storms sticking around. The storm threat, just half of the story. You know, it's been a toasty week so far, and we've got the hotter weather that will be sticking around for the rest of the work week. Not that bad out there now. We've got some rain-cooled air. We've got temps, in fact, in the 60s for Worcester, low 70s in Cleveland. But after we get rid of this morning round of storms and we get the atmosphere to heat up a bit more, we are still expecting those temperatures to soar well into the 80s for this afternoon. And with all of that heat and with all of the humidity around, that's going to help fuel more storms. So it looks like we do have the potential for more storms to pop up for your afternoon. But we already have the storms this morning, so just stay weather aware, stay alert. If you do have to work outside, prepare for the heat, prepare for the humidity, but also prepare for a few strong, possibly severe storms. Outside of those storms, like I said, it is going to be hot out there. We're still expecting mid to upper 80s for this afternoon. When you throw that humidity in, it's going to feel even hotter than that to the body. If you're working outside, that feels like temp, likely climbing to the upper 90s, close to triple digits. Now, if we were expecting 100 to 105 degree heat index values, there would likely be a heat advisory issued. So we don't have that, but we're getting closer to that mark. But I do think we will have some feels like temps in the upper 90s for this afternoon. Bottom line, it's going to be sticky. It's going to be steamy out there. Dew points today likely by this afternoon in the 70s. So that's that instant sweat category. So it's going to be a little uncomfortable if you have to work outside. And then you're going to have to dodge a few strong, possibly severe storms as well. So we've got a lot going on today. The weather's staying pretty rowdy and pretty unsettled for your Tuesday. As I've been mentioning, we've got the storm threat, we've got the heat threat. High temps today in the upper 80s likely, but when you add in that humidity, this graphic shows it all. Those feels like temps. Heat index values likely getting close to triple digits. Yikes. Not what you want to feel if you have to work outside or exercise outside if you're going for that walk or that jog. This is what you're going to have to deal with today. I think the heat index values will climb up to around 97, not just for this afternoon, but for tomorrow afternoon. And that is getting closer to that dangerous heat category. So certainly prepare for that. Actual air temperature in the upper 80s for most spots. So we've got the strong storms, we've got the heat, we've got the humidity, but with that storm threat around, maybe some impacts for the Tribe game this evening. First pitch around 7:10. We've got the Oakland A's in town, but it looks like there could be some strong storms that could cause some delays. Hopefully that's not the case. We'll get the storms out of here hopefully, but I do have to warn you that there could be some delays for this evening's Tribe game. I also want to give you a quick look at a tropical disturbance that has developed out in the Caribbean. We've already got tropical storm warnings out for parts of the Caribbean for this. This is potential tropical cyclone number 6. Right now it doesn't look like it's going to bring us many impacts, but maybe you have a trip, a vacation planned to South Florida. It looks like this will keep pushing to the west and then eventually make a turn more to the northwest by late week and the weekend. Could be very close to Miami by this weekend on Saturday, but if it stays more on the western side of this cone, could move into the eastern Gulf of Mexico, likely impacting parts of the western Florida coast, maybe getting close to Tampa for parts of the weekend. And then it could ride on up into northern Florida, parts of the northern Gulf Coast. So we'll be watching potential tropical cyclone number 6 closely. Like I said, right now, not looking like it will bring us any huge impacts, but we'll be watching it closely. If it does become a tropical system, it would be named Fred. Of course, we're getting into the time of the year where the tropics usually heat up and become a lot more active. But for us, closer to home, we've got our action all on our own without the tropics interfering. We've got storms, we've got heat, we've got humidity. Those temperatures close to 90 for the next 3 days, and there will be strong storms likely popping up through the end of the work week, at least until we get a strong cold front through here on Friday. And that front will finally knock those temperatures back down for the weekend. Highs in the 70s for this weekend. So if we can get through today, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the weather will get much nicer just in time for your weekend plans. But right now, still dealing with the heavy rain. And look at this map. That rain just keeps piling up over some of the same areas, right over Menor on the lake, Fairport Harbor, Paynesville, but especially over Menor. Our Power 5 radar now estimating close to 3 inches of rain that have fallen just over the last few hours. So we continue with that flood threat, flood advisory through 10 a.m. Different view of our radar will show you that we do have some very heavy rain out there right over Menor. So the same areas keep getting hit. This is where we do have that flood advisory. Menor, Kirtland Hills, Paynesville, Concord, Timberlake, Willoughby, all getting in on some of this rainfall, but the heaviest rain at this point still over Menor and also Concord, Paynesville, now stretching into Perry and Chardon, but that flood advisory back across the Menor area. So the dark reds, the yellows indicating where we do have some of that heavier rain. And so this is what you're going to have to deal with as we go through the morning. Also, still tracking some strong storms back to the southwest. That storm threat, as I mentioned earlier, around 60 to 70%, but I want to take you down towards Shelby and Mansfield. Give you one more view. This is where we do have more storms building here. This is going to be Spencer, Sullivan, Ashland, Shelby, Bucyrus, Mansfield. Some heavy rain coming down now for Ashland and Mansfield, and still the potential for some 40, 45, 50 mile per hour gusts. There's a look at Ashtabula. You can see we've got the wet parking lot there. Same deal in Menor. That rain keeps coming down, so wet roads for you. So this is something that we're going to be watching closely. We have the threat for more heavy rain, and this rain will continue to impact us off and on as we go through the rest of the morning. I'm going to go and try to get a view from Ashland or Mansfield. Let me see if I can pull that up for you, see what's going on there since we do have that heavy rain rolling in. Trying to find that view with our cameras. And there it is. I'm about to pull that up for you. I want to show you what's happening in Ashland. All right, check this out. I just showed it to you on our Power 5 radar, and here is a live view of what's happening in Ashland right now. You can see this camera kind of getting thrown around. It is windy out there. The potential for 40, 45, 50 mile per hour wind gusts and very heavy rain. And also the threat for a little bit of hail as well as this cell moves through. But you can see it's kind of difficult to see out there. Visibility reduced because this storm is dumping some really heavy rain, and there's the threat for some 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts. So rowdy, messy weather for you in Ashland this morning as you gear up to head out and enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. So keep that in mind. That's where we have that strong line of storms. No warning out on that, but this line, as I've been mentioning, is still pretty strong, and it's going to keep impacting us. Maybe some wind gusts around 40 to 50 miles per hour. In fact, I'm going to switch back to our Power 5 radar, and I'm going to zoom in on that cell. We just saw a live view of Ashland. Here is that cell. You can see the heavy rain, the lightning, rainfall rates showing up right around 2 inches per hour, right around the Ashland area. So some very heavy rain showing up here. I'm going to turn the lightning off. There's a lot of lightning as well, but I want to get an estimate of some of the wind speeds that our Power 5 radar is picking up around the Ashland area. And fortunately, no 60 mile per hour gusts showing up, but there could be some gusts around 40 miles per hour right over you in Ashland. So certainly be very careful out there as this storm moves through. If you don't have to be out on the roads right now in Ashland and Mentor, maybe just wait it out. Stay inside, wait till this heavy rain passes, and then you can head out. But if you are going to be out, watch for ponding of water on those roads, especially up around our flood advisory area. That's going to be up around Mentor, Paynesville, Concord, just north of Chardon. Even in Chardon, some very heavy rain. So watch out for that heavy rain. Watch out for that threat for flooding, and we will be tracking these storms as we go through the morning. I've got to get ready for another cut in on News 5, but I hope I was able to help you plan things out for this morning. We do have that threat for storms, so just stay alert out there, and I'll be keeping you updated through the rest of the morning. Take care.